Hello, Steemits. Crypto G here, coming at you with another tutorial for Pixlr. I just thought I would do another one, another particle one, because I dropped a sort of simple particle one, and I thought it was very good for beginners. Someone could just easily pick Pixlr up and have a try at that, because the techniques weren't too difficult. However, I've been messing about trying to get a particular effect, and yeah, I think I've done quite well, done something quite nice here. May even sort of develop into more things. So yeah, I just thought I would show you a kind of advanced technique, a kind of particles on steroids, if you like. Okay, so this is the kind of effect we're going to go for. I was trying to get a kind of watercolory effect here, and a kind of, kind of blown particle effect, like, to give a nice feeling of movement as this guy whizzes around a dirt track. Okay, so I'm going to open up a new document. So I'm going to go open image. I'm going to say open. Sorry, and of course we're going to bring in our old favourites, bike skid. Okay, and then I'm going to free transform that, get that a bit smaller. So I'm going to go edit, free transform, keep my finger on shift, come up here to the corner, come down to around about E8. Okay, click off, and that will ask me if I want to save. Yes, I do. Okay, then we're going to go for a new layer. New layer. And I think it's number 1 is the new layer. Yes, so we want that on the bottom. And we're going to call that background. Okay, just noticed a slight artifact there. I'll get rid of that. Get rid of that. Okay, so we've got the background, and we're going to make the background white. So let's just change the color. FFF. Press OK. Come here. Make sure we're on the background. Yes, we are. I'm going to fill the background. Okay. So now we're going to go up to our original bike. So we're going to call that bike layer actually, because we're going to get quite a few layers here. So we want to make sure that we label them all. So I'm going to duplicate that. Okay, so we're going to create 2 to begin with. The first one we're going to call bike stretch 1. I'm going to call it stretch 1 actually, just for ease of reading. Stretch 1. Okay. And we're going to call this effect. Effects. Okay. Right. So we're set up here. So first of all, we're going to go to stretch 1. We're just going to turn off the bike layer and the effects layer so that we're just left with stretch 1. Yep. Okay, and then we're going to make sure we're on that, and then we're going to go to free transform. Okay, and we're just going to do exactly that. We're just going to stretch it out just a little bit, not too much. Yeah, that's about right. Maybe even a little less. Yeah, just slightly deformed. Okay. Then click off, accept for changes. Yep. Okay, and then we're going to add our first mask. So we're going to be adding quite a few masks. So I just right clicked and added my mask. Of course, I could have come down here to the Add Layer Mask tab. Okay, so now we're going to turn these back on, and we're going to go up to the effects layer, and we're going to come to our brush tool on the left, click on brush, click on more. We should be on artistic as a default. If not, navigate to artistic and click on splatter, and then add. Okay, so now I'm going to start with something quite heavy, the 378 brush, and make sure I'm on the effects layer, which I am, and I'm just going to start taking pieces out of my main layer here. So it's effects. Okay, let's take a bit out here. I'm going to change brushes, go up to here, and it is the changing of brushes that gives us that really nice effect. We can even, which we're going to bring in a bit later actually, no, so I won't do that now. I'll save that for later. Then we go to brushes again. 269 is a good one, I seem to remember. That's quite nice. Go down here. Here. And then I want a small one for the helmets. Where are we? 485, no, it's quite big. 145, here we go. Perfect. 145 for the helmet. Okay, got to remember that one, 145. Right, now we are going to go onto the stretch layer, our first stretch layer, and using 145 actually here. Let's see where we are, yeah, just around here. Okay, and then I'm going to change brushes again. So now we're working on the mask layer, and we're just bringing in some of the stretched image using this brush. As you can see, it's just bringing it in the same pattern of the brush in these little dots. I quite like building up the picture with different brushes. So I'm going to go on quite a heavy spread of a brush here. Okay, round about now is when I'm going to bring in blur. So if we have brush and the blur, you'll see there's a little blur droplet up there. But we go, where's that 145 brush? There it is. And now I can click and drag. You see there, and you see there it's just blurring rather than coming back in pixels. It's now just blurring, and I love this effect. It's like a kind of almost like a watercolor effect. I can imagine watercolor dipped in sponge, you know, that lovely effect that you get. That's what you're getting with this, and we can really, I mean, I could just go and go and go all day with this. It's beautiful. Okay, I think that's quite nice. Yeah, I'm really liking that. I think I like that more than the one I just showed you. Okay, let's go for, what's this 105 brush here? Ah, yes. Just do a couple of little streaks out there, nothing too much. Do I like that last one? No, I'm going to undo that. Oops. Okay. Right. So that is our first one. Now we can. I'm going to duplicate the effects layer. Right, so our effects layer is our original picture which we started to mess about with. So when I take off that effects layer, you see the original effects disappear and you just see the original down at the bottom, the bike layer and the stretch 1 layer. So we're just going to mess with the effects layer. Oh, sorry, we're going to duplicate the effects layer. So I'm just going to right click and duplicate layer. And then I'm going to bring that down to just above the stretch layer. And I'm going to rename that stretch 2. Stretch 2. There we go. Stretch 2. I am going to edit and free transform. And I'm just going to move it back slightly to roughly where these particles are. And then I'm going to stretch it. Stretch that there. And it getting more and more stretched as it goes back, so slightly more stretched than the last one, maybe a little bit further back. Stretch it out a bit more. Let's get rid of that bit of white space there. Okay, yeah, that's about right. And then we're going to first we're going to accept the changes, so yes. And we're going to come here and we're going to apply layer mask to stretch 2. And away she goes. Right, now we're going to go back up to our brushes. I'm going to stay on 105. And I should still be on blur. Yep, I am. So if I click and drag, you see I'm getting a kind of trailer effect. I'm going to change brushes now. And go to... see what this 435 is. Oh, that could be nice. Okay. So I got the option to either click, as I'm doing here, or click and drag. Where do I want to drag that? There. Let's create a bit of a trailer effect. Okay. Right, I'm going to use a smaller one for his helmet. I'm going to try and drag his helmet into existence. And the second one, this is quite a nice one to do that with, I think. 173. That's a bit heavy. It's a bit heavy. I don't want it that heavy. I'm going to just... Okay, so this particular brush is quite heavy, 173. I'll remember that. Let's go for the lighter 145. There we go. Oops. I want to be up there. I want to be here. There we go. His helmet should definitely get heavier the closer it gets to the actual bike. There we go. Right, let's get that heavy brush now for the bottom 173. Where are you? There you are. It's a bit too much, that one. I think that one is good to use closer to the actual bike itself. Okay, 145. Okay, so now you get the idea of what I'm doing. I'm just building up. So we're gonna now, I'm gonna copy the effects layer again. I could copy the original, but I'm just gonna right click, duplicate that, drag it to below the effects layer and rename it, you guessed it, stretch 3. Okay, click off that, make sure I'm selected, and then go to edit 3 transform. I might start by stretching this actually before I move it, then move it back a bit. And then stretch a bit more. Let's see, where is that? Okay. Stretch a bit more. Actually make it slightly bigger. This one. And down. Just slightly down. Slightly in. Okay, that's about right. So we're going to accept those changes. Yes, we do want those changes. Apply, add a layer mask rather, not apply. There we go. Okay, and now come back up to our splatter brushes. And let's start messing about on this layer. Do a bit of dragging. Go. Alright, so then I'm going to come across here. Brush 213. It's pretty good stuff. Let's fill in this little gap here. Just do a bit of a drag. Slightly heavier than I wanted. I'm just going to undo that. Just do a half. There we go. Little half drag. Couple of clicks there. I'm just going to follow the contour down here, roughly. There we go. That's starting to look really quite nice, quite abstract. Yeah, really liking that. So, yeah, they say less is more. Knowing when to finish is probably what separates the masters, isn't it? So, yeah, I think something along those lines. So now we can really add some nice stuff, and this is where it becomes important that you've named them, because now we can do some really nice stuff. Okay, so we're going to go back to our stretch 1 layer, which is the closest layer to the bike itself. If we turn that off, we can see that disappears. Right, so we come up to filter, and you know, there's all sorts of lovely little things we can do. I like the water swell, so that kind of gives it almost a watercolory kind of feel. Again, just kind of extenuates that watercolor feel. I can just change the size. It's quite a subtle effect, which is nice. Okay, say OK. Go to our next layer, stretch 2, which should be the middle one. Indeed it is. Go to filter, go to water swirl, and this time I'm going to make it Just a little less again. Just a bit different. Okay, we're going to give it a horizontal swirl. Yep. And then the last one, which is stretch 3, which is the one right at the back. We're going to go filter, going to do the same water swirl, but this one we're going to make just that little bit more kind of unrecognizable, a bit more abstract. It's a little bit too much there. Yeah, that's about right. That's about right. That's a nice little thing. And so yeah, so there you go. You can keep on, you know, just having a go at different, you know, different types of effect here. There you go. That's art poster. It's kind of could be quite nice if you mess around with that. But there's various things you can do. You can affect each layer, and then yeah, once you've finished, you can collapse it all down. Just right click, merge it all down. It'll become one image, and away you go. You've got yourself a nice little kind of pixelated watercolor kind of blast image. So yeah, this was a long tutorial, but it was a bit more advanced, so I hope you forgive me for that. And yeah, let me know below what you think and what you'd like to see in the future. Okay, thanks very much. Bye bye.